Okay. This is your back. Hold on to my arms. Ready?
Oh, you're strong.
You got it?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you help me get back on the sidewalk?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
No problem.
He pulled me over.
Charlie,
Oh, Charlie did?
Charlie,
Yeah.
walk slower.
You got it?
Yeah.
Here you go, ma'am.
Thank you.
I got a lot of work up on my plate, and I'ma get it all till the clock stops ticking. Forget the pain of yesterday, and show a star in the how you are. Wake up and go get it, live life with no limits. Every time they put me in a box, I bust it down. Too much time up on the clock, so I'ma bust it down. Ain't no waiting for the moment, cause the time is now. I'm with my brothers like Malcolm and them, and we split the racks in the middle. Big bro, you been ballin', so we was just tallest, you know it ain't no ceilings. These girls in the library, they looking for love, but no, it ain't no feelings. Searching for warmth in my heart, but lately it feel like the middle of winter. Every time I get back up, they wanna let me down. My granny asked me why I put that smoke up in the clouds. They always saying, woke, but they be sleeping, no one's round. Just maintain focus, keep my knees up on the ground. I put my soul and my heart in this. The clouds that left us in darkness, yeah. But I knew what it was when I started it, yeah. So now they ain't no turning back. You know I ain't got time to lack. I gotta get to the racks. And I cannot deny.
Okay, we are back with episode 3 of the Wolf of Wall Street podcast. Today we have a very, very special and knowledgeable guest about a lot of the things concerning the situation that happened with Wolf in St. Anne last year. But we're gonna start off with the basics. So, Linda, would you introduce yourself to the podcast community?
Hello, my name is Linda Madero. I am an Army veteran, combat Army veteran.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. While I was in the Army, I did autopsies, criminal investigation department. I worked with them on homicides, suicides, and murders. I guess murders and homicides are the same. A lot of investigation work. I am obsessed with law and, more importantly, with how our legal system is broke. I have a bachelor's degree in criminology. I also have a bachelor's degree in forensic studies and science. So, yeah, I'm obsessed with this case. There are so many things that went wrong with Mr. Wilson's case.
That was going to be my next question. Tim, why are you interested in this case?
There's so many things that happened that were extremely dangerous. It placed his life in danger, literally. The St. Anne Police Department used his registry, him being on the sex offenders registry, to try to prop themselves up with the community. St. Anne Police Department has a incredible history of being racist against the community itself. So without a doubt, they jumped on this case and tried to use it to make themselves look better.
Talk to me more in detail about your understanding of what happened in St. Anne, and just get into that a little bit for me.
Okay, so I'm gonna go off of my notes that I had. So sorry.
Absolutely.
The notes that I have. I would like to call out specific names from the St. Anne Police Department. Ruby Steinkraus, her badge number is 0186. Detective Lieutenant Monica Rulas, and Police Chief Aaron Jimenez. So with Mr. Wilson's case, Ruby Steinkraus, Monica Rulas, and Aaron Jimenez of the St. Anne Police Department, they need to be held accountable for what they did to Mr. Wilson. So if there's a lawyer out there who wants to take this case, I would be more than happy to sit with you and target the exact places where they failed Mr. Wilson completely and totally. It was malicious. It was done on purpose, intentful. There was no other reason you could say what they did. So.
And why is it important? Like, what is your sensibility when it comes to the righteousness of the law?
The righteousness of the law. Not sure where that question's going. What I can say with the St. Anne Police Department, they took a probable cause statement, a simple probable cause. That is a statement that allows them to call Mr. Wilson in and speak to him. So what they did is they took that probable cause statement where the mother and the child accused Mr. Wilson of following the little girl home, the elementary girl home from school, taking pictures of her, stalking her, like he's a predator.
Yeah.
That's not at all what happened. But the St. Anne Police Department took that and they did a press release to the news, the public, and the television stations. And they knew, without a doubt, that the television stations would jump on it and use it for clickbait, the more numbers for viewers.
Yeah.
So I can't believe that the journalist reported it. And some of the headlines, Channel 4 News, one of the headlines, registered sex, this is a First Alert 4, calling them out. And I think it is Fox 2 News. They were the worst. The headlines, these are journalists. This is defamation of character. None of them, Fox 2 nor Channel 4, did any investigation. Nobody ever spoke to Mr. Wilson at all. They didn't do any details. They didn't fact find. So for First Alert 4, one of the titles was Registered Sex Offender Charged After Following Girl Home from Elementary School. So I don't know how this was allowed. The St. Anne Police Department failed Mr. Wilson. The journalists who reported these cases failed. And at this point, nobody's being held accountable.
I think that Channel 2 came back and did a follow-up piece where I think they tried to clear up some of their misconceptions or some of the misinformation that was put out there. I think they tried to clean that up, and we can clip that part of the interview into this.
An investigation determined evidence did not support a criminal charge. Fox News' Jeff Bernthal has more on the man's effort to clear his name.
I did not stalk nobody. I did not take no pictures of no little girl. I didn't follow nobody. And what I've been saying has been the truth the whole time.
Wilson was accused in February of following a girl near the St. Anne Elementary School he once attended, but was never charged. Wilson was jailed while police investigated. He is a registered sex offender. Wilson says that's because of a decades-old charge in the 1980s related to a relationship he had in high school with another student.
I didn't commit no other crime like that since I was 17. I'm 55 years old. Is it a death sentence? It shouldn't be.
Wilson has gone on to win softball championships and says he's a 3-time World Series Hall of Famer. He believes St. Anne police rushed to judgment. St. Anne police tell us they take these cases very seriously. And in this case, a child made a serious allegation that led to evidence Wilson was on school property, a violation of his sex offender status. Wilson did plead guilty to 2 misdemeanors for being within 500 feet of a school. He said that was during a weekend and was taking pictures for an upcoming documentary about his life.
I just want people to know I did not stalk nobody. I didn't, my case is closed.
Now Wilson is focused on trying to remove his name from the sex offender registry he feels can be misleading.
I know that I do qualify to petition the courts to get off, and I'm gonna do everything I can with me and my lawyers to see if we can make this work.
Back in February, Wilson was also accused of failing to properly register as a sex offender. St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office has since dismissed those accusations as well. Reporting from Clayton, Jeff
Pay
Bernthal.
very close attention because Channel 2 News had the lieutenant detective, Monica Rulas. They asked her specifically, you know, what about his innocence? I forgot exactly what the clip said. Anybody can Google it. Monica Rulas stated after he did his press release, defending himself against these allegations because the St. Anne police was just letting it go.
Yeah, I know.
So-
I know you're from out of town. That was Justin Andrews with Channel 4, with KMOV, who asked her that question
And she
off screen,
responded.
and
So
she
that was Channel
responded.
4.
Right, it was Channel 4.
So what she responded, if you
Yeah.
pull that clip in,
Absolutely.
pull that clip in,
Yeah.
she responded throughout the investigation. There were different components where what, and she stuttered. She was going to say we,
Yeah.
but she stopped herself. And if you listen closely, where what it is not believed that he followed the female.
A registered sex offender called them out over claims he followed a young girl from an area school. According to online records, Curtis Wilson has been a registered sex offender since 1989. He denies the accusation that he followed her and took photos of her. Justin Andrews is live in St. Anne bringing new developments in a story you saw first on 4. Justin?
Yeah, Corey, I broke this story last week. St. Anne police telling us that at this point, what's written in that probable cause statement is something they are standing by. In fact, Wilson and his attorney, though, they're denying those accusations. But St. Anne police telling us that accusation is what tipped them off.
They lied on me. That never happened.
Firm in his fight, 54-year-old Curtis Wilson continues denying a February allegation he followed an 11-year-old girl and recorded her near Booter Elementary in St. Anne. Wilson's attorney says police fabricated the story.
These allegations that, again, are untrue and are uncharged have caused chaos with Mr. Wilson, turned his personal life upside down.
St. Anne police say Wilson was seen on camera on Saturday, February 3rd and Sunday, February 4th at Booter Elementary. Wilson claims he was with a friend shooting video for a documentary about his life. Wilson is a St. Anne native and says he actually went to Booter Elementary as a kid. According to court documents, a student reported Wilson was following her home and taking photos of her.
Because that was the initial call for service, the initial reason for our investigation to start off with.
Lieutenant Monica Rulas told First Alert 4 the girl's mother gave a detailed description of Wilson's car and license plate. Police say he was even ID'd in a photo lineup.
So in this case, that information was actually what started the investigation. Throughout the investigation, there was different components where it is not believed that he followed the female, but it is believed that the other charges were accurate.
Those charges include failure to register as a sex offender and 2 counts of a sex offender loitering within 500 feet of a school. As of now, Wilson is not charged in relation to following and recording the 11-year-old. We asked, why not take that out of the probable cause statement?
Leaving a part like that out leaves a question of why did we even come up with this person in general? Why are we even investigating?
Even though Wilson has spent most of his life on the registry, he claims with special permission, he is allowed to mentor young people. So he didn't think anything of being near his former elementary school. Both Wilson and his attorney say they're not trying to fight the 3 charges. They just want to clear Wilson's name of what he says he did not do.
It is very telling on Monica Rulas, the way she answered that question. Because she didn't say the little elementary school girl.
Yeah.
She said female, which makes it more adult.
And I wanna ask this question, and this is definitely an opinion, but I think you qualify as a professional to ask this question. Why do you think they did this? Like what?
To save their reputation, to get in better standing with the community. They have a horrible, horrible reputation with the community.
Changing jobs to avoid scrutiny. Those officers were initially with St. Louis City Police, but now both are wearing St. Anne police badges.
News 4's Kim St. Ange is live tonight detailing what's driving the concerns. Kim?
Both these officers were hired here at the St. Anne Police Department within recent years and have actually already been promoted. Tonight, the St. Anne Police Chief is defending his hires, saying they deserve a second chance. This tweet from the Ethical Society of Police sparking new concerns about what some call the Muni Shuffle.
We've seen consistently officers who are bad actors, instead of getting fired and disciplined and having their law enforcement licenses taken away, that they're allowed to resign and take jobs with other police departments.
Attorney Javad Kazali represents Milton Green, a former St. Louis City police officer who was shot by fellow officer Christopher Tanner in 2017. Green is suing the city and Tanner. Tanner resigned and was hired by St. Anne Police earlier this year. Ellis Brown, also mentioned in the tweet, was under fire for falsifying search warrants. St. Anne Police Chief says Brown resigned from SLMPD and was hired in St. Anne about 4 years ago.
They have been incredible policemen. I don't regret one moment for hiring them.
Jimenez says both officers passed a background check and the St. Anne Civilian Review Board signed off on their hire.
So is there any concern that that behavior could be repeated in the future within the St. Anne Police Department?
I can tell you that it's no concern for me.
Kazali believes this points to a loophole in the system. He says it allows officers who get in trouble to resign before they get fired and then move to a smaller police department.
There's no database out there. Nobody tracks why officers leave, and if they resign, they can just often start a new job with a totally clean slate.
I asked St. Louis City Police for Brown and Tanner's personnel information, and at this hour, and still waiting to hear back. By the way, the St. Anne Police Chief was saying had the officers he hired had either criminal charges against them or had been fired from the St. Louis City Police Department, he says that certainly would have changed things. Live in St. Anne, Kim.
A former St. Anne police detective faces a federal charge alleging he kicked a defenseless person during an arrest in April of 2019. Ellis Brown III is accused of using unreasonable force by repeatedly kicking an unidentified person who was, quote, compliant and not posing a physical threat to anyone. Brown pleaded not guilty to the charge of deprivation of rights under color of law. He was released on bond with conditions that he surrender all firearms and not leave the state.
They wanted to show the community that they were heroes, put on their cape. We got this really, really bad registered sex offender. If you watch the first news stories on the case, they're horrific. Within 30 seconds, 40 seconds, the newscasters say registered sex offender, sex offender, sex offender, 8, 9, 10 times. So it sways public opinion. That placed Mr. Wilson in great danger, him, his family, his friends, because we all know, like, when you go to prison, there is no safety for child predators. Yeah. They'll kill you. So out here in the streets, we're in St. Louis, and I don't know if anybody else knows this, this is probably the #1 most violent city in the United States. I Googled it a couple weeks ago. So in the world, it's number 6. St. Louis is number 6 most violent city, dangerous cities in the world. Yeah. Under Mexico and Venezuela. Yeah. So there's a lot of Mr. Wilson has a history of gang members. He was over the gangster disciples. They don't tolerate men that prey on children. They put his picture up. That put him in great danger. Yeah. He isolated himself in his house. Yeah. It's dangerous to do that.
Yeah, we live in the climate in America right now is really, it's really elevated. Hate speech is everywhere.
People are getting shot.
People are getting shot for less. Words are very powerful, and it's important to shine lights on things that are done in the dark. We need to shine a light on it. And to that end, what is SORNA, or the SORNA law?
The Sex Offenders Registry Act of 2006. The SORNA law, the SORNA Act, came about when you said John. Adam Walsh was murdered, a little boy. John Walsh, who's America's Most Wanted. He's the guy that does the show. Right. His child was killed in Florida. Raped, sodomized, and his head was cut off. There was Megan's Act within another year or so of Adam Walsh, his murder. Megan was another little girl that was killed, and Wedler's Act. 3 of these acts pushed SORNA, the Sex Offenders Registry Act. It is being fought across our nation because it allowed the federal government to go into the state law and basically threaten them and say, you will go in and place anybody, I don't care if they peed on a wall, that's a sexual offense, or if they cut the little boy's head off and sodomized him. They're all going to go in the same bucket. We're going to place them on the registry, and good luck to you. You will fall on the registry. You will have to do all these things, show where you're living. You can't go to parks. You can't do certain things. It's highly, I guess, claustrophobic.
Yeah.
You can't move.
Yeah.
So the SORNA Act is what did that of 2006. Mr. Wilson's offense was when he was in high school in 1986 with his high school girlfriend during the Ferguson riot era, where there was so much racism with the law, the judges, and the legal system. Ferguson is literally right next door to Berkeley High School, where Mr. Wilson went to high school. That little girl's white father, she was Caucasian, did not like the idea that his daughter had a relationship with a black young man. And it was pushed through the court systems. He did not have proper representation. He got 5 years probation. When he turned 20, he got into a fight, broke the probation. That's when he ended up in jail. Since he's been 17, he has not committed any sexual offenses. And we're sitting here today in 2025. He is 56 years old. It's insane that he is on the sex offender registry because of something that happened in 2006 with Adam Walsh being murdered.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I've said it on the previous podcast episodes that, you know, according to the letter of the law, we're all guilty of sexual assault.
Yeah.
And, you know, you shouldn't, when there's no heinous act, we understand now, according to the law, that no one's able to give consent under the age of 17, right? But there was no violence for whatever consensual permission is worth as a minor. It's two minors. You know, that is what it is. But it is incomprehensible that you would spend 40 years on a list.
He wasn't on the list.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the list until the SORNA Act.
Wow.
The SORNA Act in 2006 is what pulled him on that list.
Pulled him on the list. Okay.
He wasn't. His original offense didn't put him on the registry.
Yeah.
The SORNA Act of 2006. His offense was in 1986. The SORNA Act came about in 2006. It's insane because that act was retroactive. Anybody for any type of sexual offense prior to 2006, which is insane to me, because these people have already served their time. Some people did commit horrible offenses. He just happened to be a minor whose girlfriend's father didn't like the thought of him being with his daughter, and it pushed it through the court system. The judges, the lawyers, everybody that was involved. He got 5. He shouldn't even have gotten probation if he had a good enough lawyer. So it's insane to me that when I found out about his case and I started sleuthing and researching, like how did you end up on the registry? How did that happen?
Yeah.
Because at no point there's we have civil rights that say that you're supposed to be able to face your accuser. You're supposed to be able to tell your side of the story. As far as I know, since 1986, nobody's reviewed his case. He has no other offenses. Why is he on the registry? He has no history. Something that happened to him in high school. Why is he on this registry? So I believe that's why I don't know who the lady is that's trying to get him off the registry.
Talk to me about Adam's Law. Adam's Law. Yeah, talk to me about Adam's Law. What's the difference? Is there a difference between the SORNA Law and Adam's Law? I know they're kind of surrounding the same case.
I don't know about Adam's Law. I do know that the case, the murder of the Walsh boy.
Right. Okay.
The murder of the Walsh boy, because it was so horrific. He was kidnapped in a mall. He was raped, sodomized, and then his head was cut off. And they found his head in one of the intercoastal somewhere down in Florida. And then there was Megan's. I don't remember her story. Megan's Law, but all these children were at the same time. It pushed this big mechanical thing up to the federal government. And because of the violence of these cases of these children being murdered so badly, the federal government adopted it. And they said, yeah, everybody, I don't care who you are, you're going to go on a registry so we can watch you and see where you're at. We have to keep our children, our people, and not just children, but men, women, girls, boys, everybody safe.
Yeah.
So the federal government came up with the registry and who qualified, who didn't qualify for the registry. And like I told you, the ex post facto law, the retroactiveness of it, just pulled in thousands of people who had already, I don't know how an act can take place in 2006 and you can go back and pick people up from the past, but it did.
Yeah.
And the way that they're getting away with it is they're telling the states that each state has its own law and how they deal with people and sexual offenders and who's what and where. But the federal government, because this is so stringent, this is so strict, they threatened each state that if you don't pick up what we say, picking up all these people and putting them on the registry, we're going to cut federal funding to you. So each state gets federal funding for their criminal, their legal system. And if you do not accept this, incorporate this into your state law, then we're going to cut funds to your state. It's like a bribe. A lot of the states don't even agree with it.
Yeah.
I know Pennsylvania has fought against it. Alaska, I think California, definitely Pennsylvania. So I can pull those up and send those to you also.
Yeah, please do. I'd like to clip those facts into this episode. What is your hope for this case? What is your hope for Wolf's situation?
He's removed off the registry. Number one, St. Anne Police Department needs to be sued. Not a little bit, a lot. The key specific people who were involved, they knowingly did what they did. I do not care what they say to cover themselves. You can't cover yourself. You did a 5-day investigation. You know that this man was innocent, and you still went in front of cameras, the public, and press, making him out to be a pedophile, a sexual predator, stalking on elementary school little girls. They should not be allowed to do that to anyone. But most people, because Mr. Wilson is who he is, once you get to know him, you'll understand. There's a reason why he's got Wolf, why he's got the title Wolf. You did it to the wrong person. And there's plenty of people who support him, and I know him. If there's anything I can do, Dre can do, you can do, the judges, the lawyers, his parole officer, whomever, there's got to be a lawyer out there that'll take this case. It's low-hanging fruit. What the St. Anne Police Department did to Mr. Wilson should never be allowed to happen to another person again. And I know they've done it. They did it so comfortably. They just didn't think he was going to fight back, and he did. So,
yeah, I think a lot of times that is the default setting of the criminal court system, that they count on defendants laying down, rolling over, not fighting, scared of consequence, right? But when you have had everything on the line, your whole adult life, kind of takes the fear out of you, right? And you kind of develop a, knuckles up, I'm ready to fight for my life and for what's right. And I think we've all kind of, in different ways, been pulled into the gravity well of, what this situation is. And we all decided to stand shoulder to shoulder to shine a light on it for our own reasons. And to that end, you saw injustice happening, right? And you decided that there needed to be some light shown on the St. Anne situation, right?
And the news channels.
So talk to me about how all that went down. How did the news even offer Wolf an opportunity to tell his side of the story?
I found out about what happened to him. I did some research. I spent, I don't even know, months where I didn't sleep. I was up at night just researching and Googling and researching and Googling. I have enough criminal training to know what to look for. I'm not a lawyer by any means. A lawyer would eat this up. A good lawyer would tear this up. I know where to point to. I don't know the legal terms or the documents or the motions that need to be filed. So a lawyer does need to handle this. What obsessed me with it was just the injustice of all of it, injustice of the police department going to the media, and that the media is held accountable too. They're sued. All these huge lawsuits. The president's wife is suing ABC or somebody for millions of dollars for defamation. You can't go on public television and say something that is not true. He was not charged for stalking a little girl and taking pictures of her. There was no charges for that. They just took the statement that the Steinkraus lady made for her probable cause. A probable cause is telling this person made this allegation, that's why I went to go talk to Mr. Wilson. That doesn't say that he did it. It just gives the police a reason to talk to Mr. Wilson. At no point did the St. Anne police say, oh, we did a 5-day investigation. We went through his 3 phones. We went through his car. We verified with this person, his producer. Yes, he is doing a documentary. There's no substantiation of the allegations. He has perfect reason, perfect explanation. He was completely helpful. When they called him in, they asked him for all his phones. He said, here you go. They asked him for his deleted files, for his secret files. He gave them the passwords. It's all on the interrogation cameras, the body cameras, everything.
Yeah.
He took himself to the St. Anne Police Department because I'm stalking who? Who am I stalking? He didn't even know.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew, I think it was day 3 or 4 that he was in jail. He was put in jail over this. And they knew he was innocent because they did the investigation into his phones and he was still in jail. How? Oh, I don't even know how that happens.
Yeah.
It's insane to me what St. Anne police got away with. It is insane to me. Knowingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to look these people. I pulled up pictures. I would love to look at them and sit with them with the correct lawyer interrogating these people back, question them on a stand for a lawsuit.
One of the things that this podcast is generating is interest. The softball community is a really wide net of professionals, right?
Yeah.
And I had spoken to Wolf over the weekend about some elements of his case and things that, just like you, I've been sitting up thinking about stuff and kind of ruminating over, what limited aspects of the law that I know. But I got confirmation on what I was thinking from somebody who saw the first episode of the podcast and say, hey, I play softball. I went on CaseNet and found this and went on LexisNexis and then pulled up Missouri law. Here's a motion to have his case dismissed, the original conviction dismissed, because he shouldn't have been in adult court. He should have been in juvenile court.
At
right?
17.
And it never would have got out. Here's this for ineffective counsel. Here's this. So, you know, growing a podcast, you know, is a labor of love. You know, it grows organically, and sooner or later something will catch, and then it'll just explode, right? But the people who are seeing it have been the right people so far, right? And so the information that you're providing today is so key to, you know, why we're doing this. This podcast was meant to be, you know, 50% informative, 50% entertaining, right? And we're in the informative stage of just what's on the line for young men and women across the country. Like, you know, I didn't know.
Nobody would know.
Yeah.
And as a young boy at the time, 1986, there's no way he knew that
No
this
way.
would affect him for the rest of his life. They would have, him and his mom would have fought harder.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
Whoever the legal counsel was at the time, massively ineffective counsel.
Oh yeah, it just laid down. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, yeah.
And then the atmosphere in 1986, it was way more blatant racism at the time. So I'm sure when the white father pressed this issue to the court systems, the judges, the prosecuting, the district attorney's office, they jumped on it. Oh, we're going to show them. Yeah. I know exactly what happened with his case.
Yeah.
They did not want to see his little precious Caucasian daughter with a boy of color.
Yeah.
And it made him very angry, and he pressed it to the hilt, and he got caught up in it, and it's affected him for the rest of his life. Yeah. Him being on the registry, that didn't even happen for 20 years. It didn't happen. He got caught up in it. And that our registry, what needs to be reviewed for the state of Missouri, that this federal push on the SORNA law, the Sex Offenders Registry Act of 2006, so that they still get their monies. You've got people like Mr. Wilson that are on the registry that are facing, he was walking in the park when an officer told him that he was wanted for stalking. A woman and her child made an allegation. He proved why he was where he was. There was no evidence that he was doing what was alleged. The mother's supposed to protect her daughter. The daughter is supposed to tell the mother. Everything happened correctly. Where it fell apart was the St. Anne police not divulging what they found out in that investigation. Even to today's date, they still have not divulged what is the result of your investigation. Detective Monica Rulas verbatim put it in writing. What were the results of your 5-day investigation into Mr. Curtis Wilson? I want it in writing. She needs to be forced to put it in writing. Her and Lieutenant Steinkraus.
You know, I think I don't want to say I know this for sure, but I'm almost certain that Mr. Wilson can file a Freedom of Information Act on his case, and they have to turn over the entire file.
The investigation results.
Yeah.
The young guy that talked to him in the interrogation room, Lieutenant Monica Rulas, her statements, her dodging Channel 4 when Justin Andrews asked her directly, and that weak response that she gave. It's embarrassing. She was trying to cover herself. Yeah. That's sad. That is sad.
Yeah.
You don't do that to people.
Yeah, they thought they had him one. They said, oh, we got somebody on the registry. This is open and shut. But they didn't know how many layers were to this. They didn't know that he was a, decorated athlete. They didn't know he had a massive national network of supporters. They didn't know he had a television producer.
4-time Hall of Famer.
Yeah, they didn't know any of that.
The list of things when the St. Anne police did what they did. I'll send you my press release that I wrote up so that he could get back in front of the cameras to defend himself against St. Anne. The things that happened when this went public with the news. His 4th Hall of Fame induction, that was for St. Louis. That was postponed. fourth. He's got 3. He's a 3-time Hall of Famer, 4-time Hall of Famer. It got postponed because of the story.
Right.
He had 2 jobs as an umpire. He was retiring from ball. He had 2 jobs as an umpire. Of course, he was umpiring children at points. He lost his 2 jobs. He couldn't find employment because of this. He was moneyless. Life-threatening harm, potential harm to himself and his family. They put his picture on television. If he was driving into a store and walking around and somebody said, "Oh, that's that MF that was following that little girl," he could have gotten hurt, beat, killed.
Anything could have happened. Yeah.
In criminology, any kind of criminal justice or criminology studies, lawyers, people that are studying law, there's a thing called being labeled. It's gigantic because once you're labeled as a criminal, you go into the system for any purpose. It's like a stink you cannot get off of you. So just by them reporting that story and the titles that they use, it labeled him as a child predator, a child stalker, and a pedophile. He's none of those. But because the news did their titles the way they did, that put a label on him. So he came back swinging, literally swinging back at them for you're not going to call me out of my name. I am none of those things. So yeah, this is near and dear to my heart because of what I study in my professional life, my military life. I'm obsessed with the law. I'm obsessed with all these crime shows that we watch, and I myself have looked into possibly at the end of my current career, when I go into retirement, I want to work for the Innocence Project because most of my background history in the military is medical laboratory for DNA studies. So a lot of DNA evidence. Just recently, last week, I think it was, a man was released from prison. I think he was in there for 26 years and he was found innocent. 26 years of his life. A black man in prison. And there's many stories that you can go with that. But what happened here, he could easily be in prison right now. Easily. By the grace of God, he's not. And I think we should use his story to fight this SORNA Act. There has to be something done because there's a lot of people who are in the same position as him. They don't have the platform that he does. But for people that are on the registry and they've got specific details that need to be reviewed. His case, since he has not had any other recidivism is what they call it. Reoccurrences of whatever he committed back in 1986. That in itself should remove him from the registry. There's no reason for him to be on the registry at all. So
I mean, if you look at the history of his life,
it's insane.
Since '86, it's been stellar. It's been a life that, under normal circumstances, most people could look back and say, "Man, I had a good run," But he's got that asterisk that, in my opinion, after doing a whole lot of reading, a whole lot of Googling, a whole lot of conversations with just people that I know, that I went to college with, that I met in, throughout my career, they all have landed on the same page. My wife, my sister-in-laws, my sister.
You don't have to take Curtis Wolf Wilson's word. You can hear it out of his mouth. Go Google it. So, and even on he's on the registry now. The registry's even wrong. Why is that not corrected? They say if you Google his name, it shows him on the Missouri registry in Florida too, as a 20-year-old that sexually abused or sexually assaulted a 14 or 15-year-old.
I believe that's
intentional. 20.
I believe that's intentional.
He was not 20.
I believe
he was
that.
17. And he went to prison at 20 because he violated his probation that he got when he was 17.
I believe it is my belief, after what I have been reading and researching, that when they moved him to tier 3, they did that because of the language that is right there. It makes it look a certain way. It's propagandish. It's incorrect, right? And no one has tried to correct it.
It needs to be corrected.
It needs to be corrected.
Because anybody who Googles him, it looks bad.
Yeah.
It looks, he's a 20-year-old that, and then the terminology, the sexual abuse. He's got documentation from the courts stamped where they changed the language from rape to sexual assault to sexual abuse. It changed several times. How does it change several times?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Was it rape? Why
Yeah.
was it rape?
Yeah.
There's nothing explaining. I don't see any statement from the girl. It's the father pushing it.
Yeah.
It's insane when you put it all together, and that this is 39, 40 years later. What happened to him last year by the St. Anne Police Department is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. At no point did they ask anything about him being on that registry. Every case, it's not cut and paste. Everybody is the Walsh boys murderer. He's not that, but he's in the same bucket with those people.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. It was I did my thesis statement for graduation on this exact subject. What did we think? Because every new class that comes through, they want to know, what do we think about the sex offender registry, where people that pee on a wall can be in there with people that cut little boys' heads off and throw them in a gutter. They're all in the same bucket.
Yeah.
So, and I think they want a new perspective with the new students on how do we correct our legal system. It's broke. It is horrifically broke, and it needs to be fixed. Especially this law, the SORNA Act, placing people on the registry, specifically ex post facto, going back in time and getting people that already served time and putting them on the registry. That wasn't done in a court. He was not put on the registry by a court.
Yeah.
It was by a federal law that was pushed down the throats of the state law system. And it was threatened. We'll take money away from you unless you adopt what we say you guys need to do.
Yeah.
And states are going to take the money.
Yeah.
Money drives everything. So.
Yeah, because I didn't even know. When I found out, I called and told him. I didn't even know until a lawyer friend of mine over in Illinois told me that they make money off of people being on the registry. States make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
You pay for everything.
Yeah.
So, in all the court systems, anything that he has to do. The only thing that he was found or charged with was being on school property because of the registry.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right.
So all these allegations that he stalked a little girl, that he took pictures of her, that he followed a little elementary girl home from school. St. Anne Police Department, you ought to be ashamed. Ashamed. You checked all of his evidence. You found that he was not guilty of the allegation. You did not tell any press, the news, nobody, the results of your 5-day investigation. You ought to be ashamed. Monica Rulas and Chief Aaron Jimenez going on to Facebook and posting it for the Neighborhood Watch. You ought to be ashamed. Chief Jimenez has been caught up in a lot of racial issues.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to look into that.
Mm-hmm. YouTube it. He's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Trying to defend himself. So if there's anything that you need me to help you with, I've got your email address. I'm more than willing to send you the press release that got him back in front of the cameras after he got out of jail.
Yeah.
So that the news stations could go back to the St. Anne Police Department and say, hey, Mr. Wilson said this. What's your response? So I wrote the press release for Dre, the producer of his documentary, and Mr. Wilson, to get him back in front of the cameras. I contacted Channel 2 and Channel 4 for Mr. Wilson to demand that they retract their stories because they have journalistic ethics that tell them that they have to authenticate it.
Yeah.
They have to find out that it's fact. You're a podcaster, you know that. You can't just say something
Just
about
can't
somebody.
say anything. Yeah.
You don't know the details because they one of them told me, well, that was their that's what the St. Anne Police told us. That's their reason for questioning Mr. Wilson. That doesn't mean he did it.
Right.
That just gives them the legal reason to call him in. And then, did you ask them what their results were for the investigation? That they didn't do any fact finding at all, Channel 2 or Channel 4. But I believe one of them did do justice, and I don't know if it's Channel 2 that did justice for him. Yeah, Justin Andrews. Okay, so I don't know what else you guys want from me, but obsessed with the legalities or the failures in Mr. Wilson's civil rights.
Yeah.
If there's a lawyer out there, this is very, very low-hanging fruit. It should make you a lot of money.
I appreciate all of this. I appreciate the information. I appreciate your time. I like to reserve the right to circle back around and do an update with you down the road. I think that this is going to get really interesting, right? And I think that some people are going to be held accountable, right? And I think that even what we're doing here with the podcast, the documentary is going to be really impactful and explosive, and people are going to really learn a lot, because we're kind of cherry picking around a lot of stuff, trying to leave things for the documentary. But thank you so much. This has been beyond, informative and needed, because we're, like I said, we're endeavoring to get the truth out. We're endeavoring to talk about, the good, the bad, and the better. And so I appreciate, you shining your light into this situation, and I look forward to reviewing your documents, and we'll clip a lot of that stuff into this episode. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a lot of work up on my plate, and I'ma get it all till the clock stops ticking. Forget the pain of yesterday, and show a star in the how you are. Wake up and go get it, live life with no limits. Every time they put me in a box, I bust it down. Too much time up on the clock, so I'ma bust it down. Ain't no waiting for the moment, cause the time is now. I'm with my brothers like Malcolm and Newton, and we split the racks in the middle. Big bro, you been ballin', so we was just college, you know it ain't no ceilings. These girls in the library, they looking for love, you know it ain't no feelings. Searching for warmth in my heart, but lately it feel like the middle of winter. Every time I get back up, they wanna let me down. My granny asked me why I put that smoke up in the clouds. They always ran, woke but they be sleeping, no one's round. Just maintain focus, keep my knees up on the ground. I put my soul and my heart in this. The clouds that left us in darkness, yeah. But I knew what it was when I started it, yeah. So now there ain't no turning back, you know I ain't got time to lack. I gotta get to the racks. And knocking at